Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Chicago Bears, of course, before the draft. Now, of course, we have pick number 10 in the draft, and I'm really excited about that, but that doesn't mean we did finish at the bottom of the league once again. But, of course, we should be able to get a good player, hopefully come in, support the team that we already have, which I think is a pretty decent to good team. I don't think we're on that contenders level yet. I think we'd have to see a lot of improvement from guys like Caleb, Darnell Wright, Roma Dunze, and so on and so forth. We'd have to see some real big improvements from guys like Gravon Dexter as well. Montez Sweat getting back to his first season with us, so on and so forth. I think the team's in a very good spot, though, and I think so far this offseason we've done pretty good, right? Ryan Poles went out and kind of re-solidified that offensive line, right? He claimed Jordan McFadden off of waivers. He ended up going out and trading for both Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney for a 4th and a 6th round pick. Two good guards that I think should be able to come in and plug in right away. Now, are they both long-term solutions? No. Joe Thuney's getting on the older side. Jonah Jackson did have a couple down years after leaving Detroit, but he should be able to bounce back, especially being back with Ben Johnson. Drew Dahlman also came in on a contract, 3 years, $42 million. I think he's going to be an excellent addition. Not my most favorite thing, right? I would have really liked to see us get Austin Powers Johnson last year, but couldn't quite get him because he went super early in the second round. Then bring back Josh Blackwell, the cornerback, as well as I think he returned punts at the end of last season. Durham Smythe coming in, good little second tight end for us. Not too big of an overpay, only 2.5. Well, not an overpay. And then Amon is brought back on a 2-year, $5 million deal. Chris Williams comes back as well. Deo and Grady Jarrett both signed with Chicago, 3 years, 42.75 and 48 respectively. Tarvarius Moore, Scott Daly come back. Jonah Jackson signed a contract extension with Chicago, so they're really, really hoping he pans out. Stephon Carlson is back. Olamide Zaccheaus, one of the most underrated receivers in the entire league. He just continues to produce with good quarterbacks and with good offenses when he really needs to. He's not going to be your number one, but he's definitely going to come in and help out. Travis Homer back, special teamer. Doug Kramer back as well. Devin Duvernay, who the Jaguars released, I think he should be a good option for us, especially in the kick and punt return game. Nick McLeod, Sean Wade, and Deshaun Wright back at corners. Special teamers, they're going to come in and perform for us, as well as Miles Boykin, as well as Case Keenum. Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards get contract extensions as well. So overall, I don't think the offseason was bad, right? We also got rid of Gerald Everett, DeMarcus Walker. They also got rid of Nate Davis during the season, right? So a lot of those bad contracts kind of coming off the books at this point. But we still have a long ways to go, right? We still have questions at left tackle. Braxton Jones can stay healthy. We still have questions at that receiver number 3 position, as well as when you see Roma Dunze take that step into number 2 next year. We still have question marks across the field, right? And I don't think we're in a situation to contend unless, like I said, we have a lot of guys step up, right? There's so many different ways that we can go at pick 10, and of course it really is determined based off of who falls to us, right? I think if Genty falls, which all signs are kind of pointing to him not falling, people are thinking that a number of teams between 5 and 10 could take him, or that even a team like the Cowboys could trade up and go get him as well. So there's a lot of situations with Ashton Genty, but it's going to be an interesting time during the draft, right? I still want Will Campbell, especially if he's at 10, unless Ashton Genty is there. Then I've kind of started to ride that hype train a little bit. But if he's not there, I do really want Will Campbell if he's still there. I think he has guard tackle flexibility. You know, if Jonah Jackson or Joe Thuney, Joe Thuney's on the older side. If he gets injured, we can plug him in at left guard. If Jonah Jackson isn't up to form, we can plug him in at right guard. If Braxton Jones goes down with injury and we don't trust Kieran Ademji, we can plug him in at left tackle. He's multi-versatile. I understand with your first round pick, especially that high being at number 10, you don't want to grab a guy that's versatile and that can play multiple positions. You want to grab the best player available, as well as you want to grab a guy that's going to start, right? And I'm not saying he can't start over guys like Braxton Jones or Jonah Jackson. I just think Will Campbell would be an awesome solution. Now, I do think with them paying Jonah Jackson, as well as Joe Thuney being pretty expensive as is, Drew Dahlman getting paid, Darnell Wright being pretty expensive because he was the number 10 number 9, number 10 pick a couple years ago. I do think they'll probably lean towards Ashton Genty if he's available, or trading back. I can't see a whole ton of positions on the defensive side of the ball that I think they would use a top 10 pick on, unless they truly don't think Jaquan Brisker is healthy, or they don't think Tyreek Stevenson is that guy. I don't see them taking a defensive back. I don't see them taking a linebacker after you just extended TJ Edwards, and Tremaine Edmonds is still under contract for another 4 years. I think they're both under contract for 4 years. I think their contracts are going to end at the same exact time. D-tackle, I can't see them taking. I think they're still Ron Dexter and Grady Jarrett should be a good number 1, 2. Zach Pickens and Andrew Billings should be good number 3, 4s for us. I think Montez Sweat and I'm going to have to fucking figure out how to pronounce his name. But Deo, he signed a 3-year, $48 million deal. I don't think you're going to take an edge that high. You could take an edge because you do rotate guys a lot on the defensive line, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's Ashton Genty or bust at this point. People were kind of calling for Tyler Warren. I don't see why you would. You have Durham Smythe, you have Cole Kmet. I don't see why you would take a tight end, and I don't think Tyler Warren's that guy. That's those Brock Bauer level guys, or even what Kyle Pitts was supposed to be. I don't think he's that type of tight end. I really don't. I think a team at the end of the first round that needs a tight end could very much fall in love with him and take him. I think tight ends overall, it's so hard to hit on those like elite tight ends, right? Because there was question marks about Brock Bowers. Look at how good he was, and look how far he fell going into last year's draft, and just. It's kind of crazy, people were like, oh, he's a very good pass catcher. He's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to do very well with the ball in his hands. But there was questions about his blocking, being an inline tight end. And he fell to the Raiders. Like, especially in a draft class where, 13, 14 picks were straight offense. Like, kind of doesn't happen, especially if you're that good of a tight end. I don't see Tyler Warren going that early. Like I said, I don't see corner unless they're not sold on Tyreek Stevenson. I don't see safety unless they're not sold on Jaquan Brisker being healthy. I think it's offense. I think it's offensive line, or I think it's Ashton Genty. And if not one of those two, if most of the guys that you want at that left tackle position go off the board, then you probably see a trade back at that point. I don't think they're going to take another running back just because they want to take a running back. I think you could easily trade back into the late first round. Maybe pick up an extra first round or second round pick of next year or this year and take the running back then if you really wanted to, right? So I don't see them in a world trading, drafting somebody on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they take a receiver that early. I like the depth of this receiver class. I like a lot of guys in the depth of this receiving class, especially with Luther Burden, Jaden Higgins, the other guy from Iowa State as well, Noel, I think his name is. I think all three of those guys I really like. But I think there's pretty good depth in the receiver class. There's always pretty good depth. You can kind of find value in the later rounds, kind of with running back as well. Those are two positions where I think you can really kind of wait on if you're not super invested on a guy. Now, if you're super invested in on a guy, then go for it. Grab that guy. Take the guy that you really, really want. But I think it's an offensive lineman, or I think it's Ashton Genty, and I think it's a trade out. If not, this isn't like going against what I said earlier in the offseason, where I think there's a lot more jobs on this team open than people would like to admit, right? But I don't think there's anybody that Ryan Poles is more than definitely in love with, right? In years past, I've kind of known what he's kind of wanting to do as the draft has unfolded, or the closer we've gotten to the draft, right? The year before, it was like, okay, we're taking Darnell Wright. Well, we're taking Caleb Williams. I think we're taking a receiver. It's going to be whichever one of the three falls to us at that point. I was like, we're going to take one of the receivers, whichever one falls to us, and we're going to take Caleb Williams. The year before that, I'm like, I don't think they're taking Jalen Carter because the off-the-field stuff. I think they're going to take Darnell Wright or one of the other tackles. I was leaning Darnell Wright. I really liked him a lot more than anybody else. And then the year before that, I don't think we had a pick because it was the Justin Fields one. And then the year before that, as the draft was unfolding, Justin Fields kept falling. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go take Justin. They're gonna go take Justin. I think they're gonna do this. I think they're all in on taking Justin. And then when they traded up, I'm like, this is Justin. Granted, there was like a little 5% of me that was like, they're gonna take Mac Jones, and I'm gonna fucking hate my life for the next 4 years. They didn't. We got Justin Fields. I hated my life either way. But that's neither the here nor the there, right? I think in the second round, I think of Ashton Genty in the first, which I highly doubt at this point. I think it's going to be an offensive lineman. I hope it's Will Campbell. I think we see a running back as our early second-round pick, and we see an edge as our second-round pick. And then as the draft goes on, I think we see maybe a tight end. I think we see maybe another interior offensive lineman, another edge maybe, a receiver, of course, and so on and so forth. I don't think it really matters after that point. I think it's just taking best player available or players that you think can fit into your scheme or at least help your team win right away. But that's kind of a question for a different time. I'll kind of update where I'm standing at as we get closer to the draft and as we get further into the draft. Of course, stuff will change after round 1, right? If we do go take an edge rusher because, you know, he thinks that edge rusher could be a very good pick for us and could be a very good rotational guy as well as potentially a starter in years coming, then I think he goes edge rusher, right? I'm not 100% sold on Ryan Poles still, right? I think he's made some very, very, very fucking questionable decisions, but I still have to trust him. He's still my GM. Unfortunately enough, I've said it before and I've said it again. I thought we should have reset at GM when we were going to bring in Ben Johnson. I thought that we should bring one of his guys, maybe a guy from the Lions front office that he really liked, or somebody from a different front office that he really liked. I think we should have went out and changed GMs, just personally. I think it's better to create that chemistry in between a brand new GM and a brand new head coach, or at least a new GM to the team, so to speak. But overall, I'm kind of happy where we're at right now. Like I said, I would like to see Will Campbell come in and compete for that left tackle spot. But I think he has good versatility to be able to fill in at those guard positions, right? If, you know, one of the guards goes down and he is starting at left tackle, you could easily, and if, you know, he's not really doing the greatest or he's struggling even in the slightest, you could easily kick him into guard for a little while, let Braxton Jones come back in. And anybody that was saying, like, oh, if we take a tackle, Braxton Jones is getting traded, why? He's cost controlled. Why would you do that? Except for if, like, some team is really offering you some value for him, he's a suitable left tackle. He's not a bum. He's not great. He's not great, but he's a suitable left tackle. I don't think you trade that off for nothing, right? Oh, I'm going to trade it off for a 7th round pick so I can go take some backup D tackle that might make the practice squad. No offense to those D tackles that go in the 7th round and that are on the practice squad. You guys are living a lot of dreams that a lot of people wish that they could be living, but, you know, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of like in the MLB when somebody gives up a player that still has cost control, well, still has control, you know, through arbitration for the next 3 years, and they give him up for basically resetting to a, you know, AA 20-year-old. It's like, you have an MLB dude with 3 years of control. Why are you trading him? It's very strange, to say the least, but I think I'm all in on Ashton Genty if he's there at 10. I don't want us to trade up. I really don't. I can understand the value of taking Ashton Genty at 10. I can't understand the value of using draft capital to go get Ashton Genty after that, well, before that point. But it's not really up to me, of course. I think it's offensive lineman, and if it's not offensive lineman, I think we're trading back. I seriously do. I think there's a couple teams that especially if Shedeur Sanders does fall, like some people are predicting, where, you know, the Browns and the Giants aren't going to take him. I do think there's a world where somebody could want to come up to about 10 and take Shedeur Sanders, where somebody's like, Shedeur's still at 10? I'm going to go up and get that. That could also be an option for us, right? So there's a lot of different stuff. Hell, there could be a team that wants an edge rusher that wants to move up 6 spots, that can give us an extra 3rd, an extra 2nd, you know, a bunch of value in day 3 and stuff. You know, all types of different things could happen. I'll have my number 1 pick that I want at 10 right before the draft gets going. I'll be live tweeting some of the stuff as well about the roster, stuff like that. So keep that in mind, especially if you do like my rosters and you're just watching this because you are also a Bears fan. But with that being said, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video or any of the videos here on my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this, but with that being said, I'm out. Peace.